we just don't know how to treat those children. We read anything possible about children in captivity, with their families, without their families. Things have happened in different places. But an event like this, of children facing what they did on October 7th as an event by itself, and then being in captivity in such a horrific place for so many days, with or without others, with or without knowing what's going to happen with them, what's going to happen with their parents, this is something we did not know how to deal with. So one child told us, I actually thought that everyone forgot about me. Why did I think that way? Because this is what I've been told by the Hamas kidnappers. They told me, she said, that nobody cares about you anymore. Nobody's looking for you. Nobody wants you back. You can hear the bombs around. All they want to do is kill you and us together. A 13-year-old girl, this is what she has to hear for 50 days. So she comes back, and now, first of all, she has to believe that we were looking for her, that her parents were looking for her, that they cared about her. This is not something that takes a day or two even to start understanding how you make that child believe. The interesting thing is that children are children. I got all of them. I went all the way to the helicopter in our heliport at the medical center to get them. I went on the helicopter to greet them, to see how they are, to see if they need immediate medical care, just to watch them as we do in a triage, a fast triage. And I looked at them, and they looked at me back, said, welcome. They looked like shadows of children, not like children. They looked like shadows. And children are just so strong that while we had them, and we still have them during those days that they were with us, first you listen to them, you look at them, and they say almost nothing. Or they whisper, or they ask very quietly, can we look out the window? Can you imagine a child asking if he can look out the window? Can I open the drawer? It's your drawer, honey. It's yours. It's your bed. You can open any drawer. Can I go to the shower? Many of them have not showered since their kidnapping days, or have showered with a cold bucket if they were lucky. Can I go to the shower? Wow, there is warm water here. Can I walk out of the room? These are the kind of questions that we heard very silently during the first day. I think that we saw the first smile of many of those children maybe after 24 or 48 hours. And this smile that we first saw gave us a lot of hope that children, like we see them in other conditions, are just enormously strong. That these children, no matter if they're 3, 8, 13, 16, they will overcome with our help. And with their help, I think it's the nature of children to recover. But we also know that after this smile come so many questions, and they did. They started very quietly, but they continued with lots of stories that they told from captivity. Lots of stories that a mind can actually not imagine. That a 3-year-old child would tell a story about the red man that she saw next to her. And to understand that that red man was someone that she knew, that was covered by the blood so much that the only way that she could say to her mother, I saw that red man on the tractor, it's because she was covered with his blood, and he was just red of blood. I don't know how many of you remember different things that happened to you while you were 3 or 4. I try to think about it during the time that I'm not in the doing, but in the being. And I remember some things. I remember some events. I remember some good things, and I remember some bad things. And when we try to look back at those children and their horrible stories, the only thing that I try to think, the only thing that when we sit together in our multidisciplinary team, is to ask ourselves, when they're our age, in 40 years from now or 50 years from now, how do we make this memory a memory that will make them better and stronger people, and not a memory that will ruin their lives? I think this is our greatest mission now as caregivers. I say in many situations that we put a lot of we put a lot of question marks and not exclamation marks of what we do, because I don't think that any of us really know what exactly we should do. Each and every one of those children, each and every one of those families have 3 periods in their lives as I see it. One period is until October 6th. And as any of us, we have different lives, we have different families, we have different characters, we are in different ages. And that's until October 6th. Then there is October 7th. October 7th is a whole chapter for these families. And the 3rd chapter is the captivity. And when people ask me, how are they? What are the stories that they're telling? This is not one story. These are just, if you're into math, this has so many small parameters that we now have to take into consideration of these 3 chapters of their lives in order to understand how we're going to treat them further on. So you might see on some photos, and you see the photos, especially from our hospital, a family come together, 3 children, a mom, a dad, sometimes just a mom, sometimes there is no mom or dad. But you see a child smiling to the camera. This is a hollow child with a smile, with hope, with a future. But what these children have gone through is simply unimaginable. And we have to go one by one for all these 36 children still waiting for 2 more, to make sure that when they do grow up in a place like Israel, they grow up to be strong, healthy, understand what has happened to them, and help us help them recover from this disaster.